Okay, and I'm gonna do a little bit of screen sharing. There are a couple of videos that we want to make sure that you see. Some that may have been posted in the group, so they may be repeats. Honestly, they all could be repeats for me about every day and still be so dang good. So there, we're gonna do a little bit of screen sharing. So hopefully we have no problems with that. Take it away.
I'm first.
You're first.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I just want to start out saying this is my second leaders retreat that I have been able to go to.
And the first that you
earned. And this, like, I've been to a lot of conventions and like leaders, and this was, honest to God, I'm not just saying this, this was the most powerful one I've ever been to. And like, just the way I feel like Plexus corporately was like on a whole different level with like their perspective of the way they were trying to get their message across. Like, I don't know. It was different. It was more anything different than I've ever seen with Plexus. So I thought that was really cool. So Plexus had a guy by the name of David Salyers come and speak at Leaders this weekend or this past few days. And he is the head marketing, like global marketing CEO of Chick-fil-A. So he's kind of a top dog. He's been around. He's been with Chick-fil-A for like 37 years. And he knows a little bit about sales and marketing. And just listening to him talk about marketing, like I love marketing and I like that stuff intrigues me, but I've never heard someone explain marketing in this kind of perspective than he did. Like always marketing, if you hear marketing, that's sales and pound dollar, like dollar signs. And he looks at marketing from a different perspective. Like it's not the same marketing that you think of when you think of sales. And one of the quotes, okay, so he started out this Chick-fil-A. How long do I have? A couple minutes that I can talk? Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry. So Chick-fil-A.
Everyone's like, oh
I know.
my word, what did she just get us into?
I know. Here we are. Get your pen and paper out. So he talks about Chick-fil-A. Okay, everybody knows Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays, right? Everybody knows that. So they're open 52 less days a year than any other retail fast food restaurant chain. And he asked a question. He goes, on average, do you guys know what an average restaurant in the United States makes revenue per year, each location? The average restaurant in the United States makes $800,000 a year revenue. That's a normal number. Okay. Then he asked the crowd, what do you guys think McDonald's makes? And everybody's like, they're like the biggest restaurant literally in the world. Like, who knows? Millions. And he said the average McDonald's makes about $2.5 million a year, calendar year revenue. And he said, do you have any idea what the average Chick-fil-A makes? And we're like, I guess. I was in the crowd. I looked at Lexi. I was like 1.9. They're not, it's not even going to be, it'll be close to McDonald's because they're very well known, but it will not be over that. Does anyone have a guess what the average Chick-fil-A makes per year in revenue? Put your guess in the chat.
Being open 52 less days a
52
year.
less days. Anybody have any guess? And you can put it in the chat if you have a guess. I'll tell you in about 5 seconds. That's Michelle. I agree. Like I was like, okay, they're less. Like it's got to be like they're open less. They can't be making as much money. The average Chick-fil-A restaurant makes over $6 million revenue a year. And McDonald's was 2.5. And there's a McDonald's on every street corner. Like that just literally blew my mind. And he goes, the reason that Chick-fil-A is like that is because of our culture. We don't have the cheapest meals or all that, but he goes, we have a better culture. You have a better experience when you come into Chick-fil-A than any other restaurant in the world. And that's what we strive to do. And I thought that was super interesting. So the other thing, I just wanted to share that because I'm a numbers person. I think that's really interesting because you don't have to have the cheapest products in the world. You can just have, if someone comes into your community and they have a better experience, and they're going to want to go back there and they're going to tell people about that. So that's really interesting. The other thing I want to talk about is David Salyer's like number one point that he focuses on is perspective. Like that is his perspective. How can you look, how you view things is how you do things. So if you go into work with a bad perspective that it's going to be a bad day, I guarantee you it's a bad day. That's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. And I want to share just a quick video about perspective really quick, just so you guys, it's only a couple minutes long, but I really want to. This one. Yep. Okay. Just make sure she can screen share and then.
Make sure I can figure out how to actually do this.
Oh.
Okay, do you see him? He's got a blue screen behind him.
Okay.
Are they saying yes?
Yep, I
Yep,
think so.
okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna turn it up.
What I do with and
Can you
for
hear him?
them. So I said, what about if I write a letter to them about my perspective of them? And so I said, I'm going to write kind of a love letter from a leader to the staff. And then we made a video out of it. And I want to play that video for you right now. And then I want to ask you a question. So let's take a look at a love letter from a leader. As you're watching this, I want you to think, how would you feel and what would be going through your mind if this is the letter your leader wrote to you? Let's take a look.
We are part of a me generation, and I refuse to accept that we can do great things together. I know this may surprise you, but happiness comes from loving others is a lie, and looking out for yourself will make you happy. So in the years to come, we will tell our contemporaries they are not the most important thing in our life. Chick-fil-A will know that we have the right perspective because getting what we want is more important than serving others. I tell you this, once upon a time, we cared for one another, but this will not be true of our department. This is a stagnant and detached group. The experts tell us 30 years from now, we will be further isolated. We do not concede that we can make a difference. In the future, rampant self-indulgence will be the norm. No longer can it be said that you and I love God and each other. It'll be evident that our generation is apathetic and lethargic. It is ridiculous to presume that there is hope.
So how you feeling? You feeling the love right now? No, if that was the letter you got from your boss, might mean you'd be dusting off, we would call it a resume in the US, but maybe looking for another job or something? Well, would it surprise you if I told you every single word you just saw on that screen is 100% true of the team I work with at Chick-fil-A? How we reconcile that? Well, let's take a look.
There is hope. It is ridiculous to presume that our generation is apathetic and lethargic. It'll be evident that you and I love God and each other. No longer can it be said that rampant self-indulgence will be the norm. In the future, we can make a difference. We do not concede that 30 years from now we will be further isolated. The experts tell us this is a stagnant, detached group, but this will not be true of our department. We cared for one another once upon a time. I tell you this, serving others is more important than getting what we want. We have the right perspective because Chick-fil-A will know that they are not the most important thing in our life. So in the years to come, we will tell our contemporaries, looking out for yourself will make you happy is a lie, and happiness comes from loving others. I know this may surprise you, but we can do great things together, and I refuse to accept that we are part of a me generation.
Now, do you believe me? What's amazing about that is not one word on the screen changed, did it? The only thing that changed was what? Our perspective. Now, for some of you in the audience, you're saying, well, that's a cute little video gimmick.
So I just like that's a very cool way to explain perspective without really having to explain it. It's kind of neat.
Does anybody else have like head to toe goosebumps, tears? I cannot even tell you how many Kleenexes we were blowing through them.
Yeah.
Those are things.
Yep, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. All right. Lace, you want to go next or you want me to go? You were eating. I didn't know if you were done eating or not done eating.
It doesn't matter. I can go. So this was my very first leaders retreat. I have been to several conventions, Super Saturdays, in person, virtual, our own little humble abode that we made on our own so that we could be around people that we love. But this one was a whole lot different than any other event that I've ever experienced, especially because I got to see executives from a completely different perspective than what I'm used to. I think almost all of you know that I work in healthcare, and there's not one CEO of even our small town hospital or at Bryan or at the other little hospital that has ever came up to me and asked me questions about me. So we ran into Tarl at supper the very first night that we were there, and we went up and we were talking to him. And the biggest thing that stuck out to me was the very first thing that he asked me was, "Where are your kids? Did you bring your kids? Are they so excited?" And it just like, I almost couldn't even respond to him because I was like, nobody else cares about my kids in corporate America. When people don't show up to work, I have to stay for extra hours. Nobody asks who's putting my kids to bed at night. Nobody's asking if I'm missing parent-teacher conferences or getting them to practice or going to different places. And it was the first thing out of his mouth. This guy makes billions of dollars a year, and the only thing that he's worried about is my family. We're more than a number, we're more than anything that I could have ever imagined. And it was just so eye-opening to me that, yes, it was a leaders retreat, but I'm senior gold. It was like I had chills, and it was just so cool. I don't know if your boss or your CEO cares that much about you, but it is pretty empowering to know that we have one that cares about us and all of your families first and foremost before they ever care about anything else. The other key thing that I took away was from our dear friend Krista Fury. She was one of the speakers. She is a diamond. And she was talking about how her child was in the ICU or the NICU. And she basically was told by every doctor, every specialist, every nurse, every aide, every human that she encountered that she wasn't taking her baby home with her, that he wasn't going to make it, that all of the circumstances, he ended up having a spontaneous hemorrhage in his brain, that if they did get to take him home, he was going to be a vegetable, just all of these things. And she was in his room sobbing because she didn't know what to do. She was overwhelmed. She was scared. So all she was doing was crying. And in that moment, one of the housekeeping ladies walked up to her and said, "Why are you crying? Don't cry. Pray. Because with God, nothing is impossible." She didn't say her name. She didn't say anything else to Krista. Went about, cleaned her room, and off she went. And she never, ever saw that lady ever again. But do you know who Krista got to bring home 2 weeks later? Her little boy, who everybody else said wasn't coming home. And he does all the other things that all the other kids do that drive her crazy every single day. And in that moment, she realized, looking back on it, that it has absolutely nothing to do with your rank, with your status, with how much money you make, with how much money you could make. The only thing that matters is how you make people feel day in and day out. Everybody has a purpose. Sometimes we don't know what our purpose is, but that lady walking in to clean a room made more of an impact and a ripple effect than anybody who's a millionaire sitting on a yacht in the ocean. So I want to encourage all of you to lean into your purpose, because we all have a purpose. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're a mom, a wife, a dog mom, a sister, a girlfriend, we all have a purpose. So don't ever, ever, ever think that you are not enough, that there's no place for you. There's room for you wherever you make room for yourself. That was super, super cool. Everybody has the goosebumps. We were crying. The whole place was crying. We were all crying. I was a mess. The whole weekend, I was a mess. Like literally, I have told Lexi, we could not have strung the beads together more perfect. And all we can do is give the glory to God, because I will tell you guys right now, some of you know that I'm real budgety, like real budgety. We would have never gone. Huxley's been asking to go to Disney for ever. Half of his class, I'm pretty sure, went this last summer, and he's been asking and asking and asking. It's not happening. We don't have money to do it. It's not in our budget. We weren't going to be able to do it. And when Leaders was announced, it was the weirdest feeling ever, because he heard it. So then he asked after I got off the call, when are we going to Disney? And I was like, oh, looked at the numbers and I was like, I've never earned a leaders retreat before. I don't think we're going to be able to go. We were there. Maybe by the grace of God, maybe my kids putting themselves to bed, but with a little bit of hard work, a whole lot of grit and grace, and all the glory to God, you guys can do whatever you put your minds to. And I know it. I know that each and every one of you can, whatever it is. If it's having more energy, if it is your DIY projects, if it is taking this business from the ground floor straight to the top, if it is your workout regimen, your weight loss goals, your health goals, whatever you put your mind to with a little bit of hard work and a whole lot of prayer, you will get there. I promise. And I have a whole lot of other notes, but I'm going to stop because we don't need any more tears tonight. And Lexi is going to share one of my favorite videos from Leaders Retreat that I think was super powerful.
If I can figure out how to share the screen. I really never thought I could watch a video about geese and cry.
Outdoorsy is a service that connects RV owners with RV renters.
But that one did it for me. That was more tissues because it's such a powerful video and it talks so much about supporting each other and having each other's back, no matter what, whether it is Plexus or a lot of times when it's not Plexus, that this community is so much bigger, whether you've been here for a minute or you've been here for 7.5 years. It is so, so much bigger. I have to say that the housekeeping gal with Krista Deary was one of my biggest points from the whole thing as well. I just want to reiterate that part. One of the other things they did that they have never done before, that was different, and I thought it was very, very powerful, is they introduced every new speaker, every new leader, whether it was somebody from corporate or it was an ambassador who was going to train. They had all kinds of different ranks of ambassadors on stage training and talking and telling their stories. Everyone was introduced with a video of people saying how they had inspired them. So for example, if Mom Jeannie was introduced to speak, there would be a video of Dylan and Molly and Valerie and Kylie and Courtney all saying, these are the ways that Jeannie has inspired me. These are the qualities that she has that have been so powerful in my life and helped shape me. And I tried to take down a list of the different things that people said that were so powerful, because what better way to take those qualities and try to emulate them. But I think it would be really cool if you have a leader in your life, whether it's a Plexus leader or a leader in your church or a leader in your school or a leader at work or whatever that looks like, drop just 1 or 2 things about them that has empowered you and encouraged you. Just so that we have a little list to look at, because it's so cool to see the different qualities that it brings out. While I scroll through my notes and figure out what I'm going to tell you. One of the things that Alec talked about, so he is our president, Alec Clark. I also have the swag winners. Almost done. I was wheel deciding during when Lacey was talking. So don't let me forget to do that. Somebody holler before we hop off. Alec talked about finding out what about people makes them tick. One of the things that he said that I think is so, so powerful and such an incredible reminder is friends are those rare people who ask how we are and then stop and wait to hear the answer. Definitely have been guilty of asking questions so that I can lead to asking another question, no matter what the answer is. And I think it's such a powerful reminder as we love people well and serve people well in Plexus and in life, to listen more than we speak, to listen to love, to listen to understand. I just think that that's so powerful, and it's such an easy thing that makes a world of difference when you're having a conversation with somebody. I'm going to come back to David from Chick-fil-A also for a second, because he was so, so good in his chat on perspective. That video that Dylan found, where it scrolled the words forwards and then backwards, that whole thing is on YouTube, and it's very similar to what we heard. So I can post that link if that's something you'd be interested in watching. It's an hour, just over an hour. But it is so, so good to listen while you're driving or getting ready. But one of the things that he talks about is they take pride in, as a parent, would you want your child to work here? And I think we can take that too and say, as a parent, would I speak this way to my kid in the same way that I speak to others? If my mom heard, or if your mom heard me talking to you, not you, you're a bad example. You know what I mean though? Like if someone's mom heard you speaking to them that way or treating them that way, like it just comes back to the integrity and the humility. I didn't mean it that way. It's just it's a different situation than most situations. Like I think it's such a cool thing to keep in the back of your mind as we treat others with respect and with
Humility.
The other thing that he said that was so powerful, respect is the only thing in the world that can radically transform the results you get without altering a single element of your environment. And the way he expanded on that is he said, you're going to go home from this leaders retreat in a couple days. And he said, the politicians are going to be the same. Your house is going to be the same. Your kids are going to be the same. Your spouse, he's going to be the same. Your work is going to be the same. Your boss is going to be the same. Your car that you drive is going to be the same. Your commute to work is going to be the same. Everything is going to be the same. And it's going to be so easy to fall back in to the same. Or you can take this perspective, change it. You have the choice to change it whenever you want. You could change it right now. You could change it tomorrow morning when you wake up. You could change it in April when we have a new contest running. You could change it in June when you're at convention. You could change it in 3 years when you have another baby or a grandbaby. You could change it. I mean, it's your choice. It's just when you decide that it's time. It's your choice. And he said, if the one thing that happens is your perspective changes, everything can change. We have so much power in that to fall out of the ordinary, like the step in line of the day-to-day life and be able to choose different and choose bigger and choose better. It's crazy to think that we just have that choice. You just got to choose it. We have one more video that we're going to show. We're just over 30 minutes. The other, I think this is the last thing. And then if there's anything that you've thought of that you want to come back to, or is from Tarl. Tarl he is growing as a speaker.
Yes.
This was the best speech that I have heard him give ever. And I've heard Tarl speak a lot of times in 7.5 years. He talked about change. That was his change and growth were his like kind of keys that he went on in his little speech that he gave. And he said, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And I think that there's so much power in that. Again, it's a choice. And then he said, a good attribute of a leader is being a lifelong learner and an observer. We don't learn by doing what we already know. We improve by pushing things and doing and adjusting and do it again. And I believe it was him who pulled up a circle that said, you try, you fail, you adjust and figure out what went wrong. You reevaluate and you try again. And it's just a big circle that you just keep going around, and you have to be so ready for those failures. He said, when you stretch, you will fail. When you move the target farther away, you're going to have some misses, but you cannot worry about a few misses in life in the grand scheme of things. So wise. Okay, actually, this is what I'm going to end on. The difference between a team or a group of 100 and a team of 1,000 is the culture. How those people hold on to personal development, high energy, commitment, strong belief, faith, support, drive, fun, vision, energy, and empowerment all shapes the culture. And I think that that is powerful because this group of people holds that in our hands.
Mhm.
And I think that that's so cool. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I just seen it. I was gonna let you finish.
That was nice of you.
You're welcome. Tarl also said, I agree. Just, and I know we're over on time here. Tarl, like I said, I've also seen Tarl speak a lot, and Tarl is a very good leader. Like, seriously, one of the best leaders I've ever seen, but he wasn't always the best speaker. And like, I think everybody that's seen him speak could kind of honestly vouch for that. He's an amazing leader. Like he knows exactly what he wants to say. Sometimes he just doesn't know how to say it. He was so calm, cool, collected. His speech was like, it was like a different person. It was awesome. Like it just blew my mind. I honestly, I don't think anybody recorded it, but I wish somebody would have, because it was awesome. When he was talking about the attributes of a leader, he said, as a leader, relentlessly fight the mindset that says we've always done it this way. And that goes along with change. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. It's the same thing. But when someone says, well, we've always done it this way, why? That doesn't matter. You can change. And maybe the next way you figure out how to do it will be 50% better, 50% faster, 50% more efficient, whatever it is. You cannot get stuck in the mindset that you cannot change, because change is where you grow. We all know that. When you step out of your comfort zone and do things that you are uncomfortable with, that's where you grow. And that's it. That doesn't matter what you're doing. That just anything in life, you have to be able to change. Trying to think. Lacey, do you have anything you would like to add? Impromptu.
I do want to just mention how many times, I think that you've seen our picture that Lexi posted of us in our rows. That's just basically how we sat the whole time while we were at sessions. How many times somebody would say something and we're like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of so many of you guys at home. We were like, next year, they're going to be here with us. Next year, convention, everything. You guys can have whatever you want. And we are here for you, to cheer you on, to push you, to lift you up, to kick you in the ass, and maybe step on your toes, just like we got. But it was so, so powerful to be like, I can't even explain the entire experience of especially watching my kids, but I clearly did not know what a 5-star resort was till I walked in. I did not know all of these fancy hordivores that I ate. I don't know what I even ate, but they were good. And just the way that everybody was treated. Because if we focus on people, success will follow. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but it's only $79 to get your spot into the van and sleep with me in the hotel room in Columbus. It'll be way cheaper than the meal that my husband bought while we were on vacation.
That didn't even feed Lacey and I. Lacey and I weren't there. It was aggressive.
Not
It
good.
fed him. It's his fault.
Not good. It was not my fault.
Yes, convention right now until tomorrow night is $79 to register. So it's $70 off. You're gonna save literally half the cost if you register.
And if something comes up, you can still cancel it.
Yes, I was
It's
gonna
never
say,
going to be this price again, and I've never seen it this price. I didn't even get this price.
I didn't either. Nobody else did.
Oh.
So if you have any itch,
So, I guess
potentially
the late bird gets the worm.
the late.
Don't miss it.
If you have any itch to be there, I don't know that anybody is gonna have a better excuse than me, because I will be 35 weeks pregnant at convention, and you will find me at convention, maybe in a wheelchair, but I'm gonna be there, not having a baby.
I'll at least get you a scooter.
I will. Okay, I'll have a scooter, a wheelchair. I'm gonna be there. So if you have an excuse better than 35 weeks pregnant, then you can talk to me, but I'm not kidding. Convention is going to be that good. It's going to be that good.
I want to say something.
They said, hold on. They said that it came out today that there will be a shark at Leaders Retreat. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Shark Tank, but pretty sure I'd be real pumped to be in the room with any of them sharks. If you have not watched Shark Tank, go watch a Shark Tank. There will be a product launch at convention that is going to be the biggest thing that Plexus has ever done. Oh, yeah, this is great timing. Go. What are you waiting for?
I was trying to. So I don't remember if it was Genevieve or I don't remember. Maybe one of these Yahoos would remember, but one of the corporate people were on stage and they were talking about growth at in-person events. And like, this was like the first in-person event we've had since 19. Yeah. So a little over 2 years. And they showed this graphic, which I'll just show. I'm not even gonna show you because you won't be able to read it on my phone anyway, but it says leaders who attend events like convention, Leaders Retreat, Super Saturday, whatever, are 36% more likely to rank advance after the event. And they said that is most true about convention because we were at Leaders, and they said that is most true about convention. So, I mean, whether you're at the point in your life that you want to work the business or you just want a little bit extra cash in your pocket every month, like just going to events just fires you up. The motivation, I mean, you could tell we're more motivated than we probably have been in a while. Like I mean, me personally, 100%, but going to events makes a difference. Like that's just, I don't know what else to say about it. It just does. It's statistically proven.
There's a reason that we don't shut up about the events. So also convention registration is down to $79 until tomorrow night. Also tomorrow is the branding event, which is going to be really good. And I don't know what time it is. Figure out what time it is, please, for the tomorrow night, the branding event.
She knows.
Well, put it in the chat because you're muted or unmute. There's going to be a branding event that is like a follow-up from Super Saturday. So if you registered for Super Saturday, you should have an email that says test your connection. If you don't have an email, let me know. But it's going to be incredible. There also was a speaker, in case you didn't see the kind of disaster that travel was. Over the weekend, there was a speaker who was coming in and she was talking about storytelling was going to be, her name was Klua or something like that.
Kula Johnson, I think.
Okay. She was going to be a speaker at Leaders Retreat. Because of travel issues, she was not able to make it to Leaders Retreat. She called whatever, Genevieve or Tarl or somebody and said, I'm not going to make it. And so they tried to pull all their strings that they could, and they could not get her there. So she has been rescheduled for this virtual event tomorrow night. So that is something that we were supposed to get over the weekend that they could not make happen. So now it has been opened up to all of you. So I highly recommend getting on, even just for that. But I feel like the branding event is going to be very, very, very exciting also. I mean, really everything that Plexus does is exciting.
Did you post it in Hooked on Plexus?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I feel like yes. We will find that for sure time and let you know. So that because we do not. Michelle thinks 5:30 to 7:30. She believes
Central Time.
Central Time. If you're not in Central Time, good luck to you with the time zone.
So it's
that
2 hours.
is tomorrow night.
Is that okay?
I highly encourage you to plug into that. Like I said, if you don't have an email that has said test your connection, let me know. We're going to figure out a way that you can watch it. Convention is in June. And then the only other thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about tonight is the 3-day challenge, the cute box that everyone loves so much. That's $20. We're doing another 3-day challenge event next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Success Starts With You. If you're not in that group, holla, we'll get you in the group. But it's a great time for your friends to be able to get a little taste test of Plexus and walk through and have support and recipes and fun and giveaways and prizes. So that is this coming week. So I encourage you to share that. It's a really easy way to be able to share so that these people can try this crazy thing that you love.
One last short little video and then we'll shut up.
Yes, I
Hold
think.
on.
All I want to know is if I won some free swag.
Oh,
Hold
Oh.
on. The Branding for Success event is tomorrow. Write it down. 3:30.
you're in the wrong time zone.
Time
It's
zone.
not
Right,
at
3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. So 6:30 Eastern, so it's 5:30 to 7:30.
Everyone forget what you just heard. Just forget what you just heard.
5:30. Yeah.
I
No.
said 5:30
Yeah, she did.
Central to 7:30. It is a 2-hour event that is going to be based off of exactly what Lexi said about creating your story. 5:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. 2 hours.
We're going to post it so that no one is confused about the time zone because I will be confused. For the love. Okay, let's do the swag winner, people. There were no wrong answers. So everybody was either real good at copying their partner or y'all know your celebs and your execs. So
Mhm.
if there was anyone you weren't sure about, you can go and look in the comments because there were no wrong answers. And I'm just so proud of you. If you're not following any of those people, I encourage you to find them on social media and follow them. They are all so good. So Valerie, Kylie, Courtney, Michelle, Molly, and Cindy, you will all be receiving some fun swag in the mail. Who was your favorite celeb? That's a good question. While you're talking about that and dropping in who your favorite was, there was one that we talked to, and there was something that she said to us that I want to share just because there are a lot of us here, not all of us, but a lot of us here who have been with Plexus for a hot minute, a couple years. And we talked to Robin Sullivan. She is one that I highly recommend that you go and follow. She was a principal and she walked away from her job, I believe at Gold,
Yeah.
and decided that she was going all in with Plexus and was going to go take it all the way. So we were going to talk to her in a crowded area, and then by a weird God divine moment, she walked away and we chased her because I mean, these are celebrities. We were chasing people. It was fine. We
So
were
weird.
being a little bit crazy, but so we actually walked away from this group of people, and it was just us and her daughters that she had there. She is someone who has had a very slow Plexus journey. She has hit a rank and sat for a long time, but she has never, ever swayed in her belief. And then all of the sudden, it was her time, and she went like lightning all the way up to Diamond. And then I believe she's Diamond Senior Ruby. So we walked up to her and she asked Lacey if it was her first leaders retreat, and she said yes. And she talked to her a little bit about that and asked her how incredible it has been and how her expectations, they have been met or exceeded. And I'm pretty sure that we all just started crying at that point, maybe. And then she looked at me and I said, I have been with Plexus for 7.5 years. And she said, you keep going. She said, you keep going. There is not anything that God did for me that he's not going to do for you. He said, or she said, you're going to take this all the way to the top. She said, there is no better place to be. There is no better combination of things that are coming. She said, this is exactly where you need to be. She said, you're in it for the long haul, obviously. She said, you just keep going because your time is coming. And I think I just cried and told her thank you. So I just want that to be an encouragement to you. If you feel like you've been here a minute and you're not where you wish you were or think you should have been, that there are breakthroughs happening left and right. And now is a dang good time to be working for that breakthrough. It was so good. I'm going to share one more video and then we will hop off. If no one else has any questions. The qualities that you guys said of good leaders: consistent, encouraging, open communication without judgment, positive, they have integrity, they're respectful, they're passionate, positive, energy, integrity, and God-loving, resilient. So cool to be able to take those and just want to soak them in and emulate them to everyone that you are a leader to, who is a lot more people than you think.
Jack Welch once said, "Change before you have to." How true that is. Championship leaders understand that in order to remain relevant and competitive, they must foster a culture that embraces change. When you think about the brands that have been around for 100+ years, how they looked in the beginning is much different than how they look now. They changed. The brands they once competed with no longer exist. Why? They didn't change. Grace Hopper once said, "The most dangerous phrase in language is, 'We've always done it this way.' As the leader, you must relentlessly fight this mindset. Don't allow your team to focus on how things used to be, because used to be's don't make honey. Instead, focus on how things are gonna be. Gonna be's make honey. Gonna be's have a clear vision of the future and how they need to grow in order to become that better version of themselves. They understand constant growth requires constant change. Remember what John Maxwell once said, change is inevitable, growth is optional." Close your eyes and visualize what things will look like in 3 years. How will you need to evolve in order to meet that vision and be a front runner in your space when the time comes? What changes do you need to make? Start making those changes now. As the leader, you have the remote. If you don't like the channel you're on, nobody can change it but you. So stand up and change it. And don't be afraid of the naysayers. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Do what you feel is right, for you will be criticized anyways. Trust your instincts. Pursue your vision. Even if no one else sees it, just start the journey. The others will follow. And stay ready. New levels will bring new devils. But the higher you climb, the stronger you'll get. Take pride in being a professional problem solver as you rise. Remind your team that every change you make is an effort to get better. You don't change for the sake of changing. Like Jim Rohn said, life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. At the core behind every big change is a why, and that why is to get better.
All right, friends. I'm going to stop recording.